All right, today's project that we're working on is a toggle clamp, and we're drawing all those parts. So just a quick overview. So this was the sketch we drew of this. We drew the bottom part first, held on to this point, dragged it, arc, dragged it, held on to that point, dragged another arc, and went the rest of the way over. And then we started dimensioning everything out. Then we mirrored this part over to this side, offset it up 0.13, connected the lines, and extruded it. Then we put the fillets on all four corners, and on this face we used the center line made from this radius projected to create those circles. Extruded, saved it as a length. All right, the next one we're going to work on is the toggle clamp arm. So do File, New, Part. Make sure you create a project if you haven't. You start here. Let's go ahead and save this one to begin with, just so we don't lose it. So save, and if you created a project, it should go right to that. And just call this clamp arm. Right. Okay, so this thing's a little tricky. What I usually recommend to do this, there's a million ways to do everything, of course, but none of them are really easy in this one. So which one do I do first usually? Okay, I think usually I do half of this thing, okay, so that just half of it. Then we'll mirror it over to the other side because they're the same. We'll do this, and we'll make it extra tall, and then so we're drawing just this little profile right here, half of it, and then we'll make it extra tall way up here, and then when we extrude the length of it or the width of it, we'll make it extra wide. Just make sure we have enough. So maybe like 8 inches wide or something. That's 3. So maybe 8 inches wide, and the height looks like it's around 3. So maybe we'll make it like 5 inches tall. Okay. We don't have these dimensions. These come off the side profile. So we'll extrude that, and then we'll draw the side profile, and we'll use the intersect option on it. Okay. Now you could theoretically do it the other way. Draw this first, and that would give you the height. That might be easier. We could try it that way for once and see what happens. Yeah, let's try that. That might be easier to understand. All right, so we're going to draw this left view first. We'll extrude it extra deep, and then we'll just draw this profile on it, because it'll be the right height and so forth. And then we'll do an intersect option. Intersect option is like when you extrude cut, except it only keeps what it touches. Okay. We don't use that a whole lot, but we do use it once in a while. This is a good example. You kind of need to use it. Okay, so we're going to draw this profile. So start new sketch, start 2D sketch, XY plane. And this thing is really complicated. What I would really recommend on this is probably draw all your circles first. Okay, and they don't have to be in the right place. Once you start adding dimensions, just put them as close as you can so it doesn't go crazy when you start to dimension it out. But and then when you start adding all the dimensions and adding the fillets and so forth, it'll usually come together and get fully constrained. Okay, so you're going to use this left side profile and this little detail here. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to probably put the bottom right circle in the origin, and it looks like it's got a diameter of 0.26, and there's another one that's got 0.28 radius because it's an arc. So I'm going to draw 2 circles there. So first circle right on the origin, and it was 0.26 diameter. Okay, and then I'm still in circle. I'm going to draw another one, and I'm going to right click and change it over to radius. Okay, right towards the bottom here, it lets you change it to radius. That way I don't have to do any math in my head. It's less chance for me to mess it up, right? So then I type 0.28. I've got that one. So I'm drawing this right here. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and draw the one over here. Later on, I'll trim all this stuff out. So straight over, it looks like, is another 0.26 and another 0.28. So I'll make sure I'm straight over from that one, which I'm sure I'll have to tell if they're horizontal because there never gets that. So that one, now I'm still on radius here. So I'm going to draw the big one first since I'm on radius because it always remembers what you did last time. So 0.28 again. And then I'm going to pick it again, and now I'm going to right click and pick diameter and go back to diameter on the inside one so I can type in 0.26. Now I could have just typed 0.13, which would have been fine as well. Now, as you go, try to fully constrain stuff. It gives you the best chance of success, because if you keep letting it loose like this, it's going to just come back to haunt you. So I go to constraints here, and the horizontal is what's missing. So pick horizontal, and pick the 2 center points, and it should, I made a horizontal. Now I need the distance between them, which is 0.8. So now I pick dimension, and pick the 2 center points until I'm going to put the dimension down there below it. I hope I got on something wrong there. Try again. You could also pick the circles. And 0.8, I think, right? All right, so we've got all those circles done. I guess we're going to go into the rest of the circles now. There's no easy ones to do here. This one says it's a 1/2 inch, so let's go ahead and put one up there somewhere. So I'm going to pick circle, and I'm probably in diameter here. I don't know until I pick the point. So this one's a 1/2 inch right here. That's what I'm going to put up there, right about there. I don't know. And it is on diameter, so point. But I'm supposed to be doing radius, ain't I? So I got to do. Screw that up. Try again. Pick a point, right click, radius, 0.5. Okay. So that's that one. It's going to go around. What I'm going to do is draw tangent lines here in a little bit. That's what I'm going towards. And then this last one over here, it's got a radius of 0.32. So I'm going to put that one up here where it looks like it's roughly in the right spot, and 0.32 on that radius. Okay. So I can draw those lines now and do some things already. Probably go ahead and do this one up here until it's got a 1 inch radius. So that's above that one. So I'm going to draw one up there somewhere, 1. And this one I think I can get away without. We'll try it anyway. Okay. So now I'm just going to make tangent lines here between them. And then I'll add these angles that are in there and the distances that are in there from like the beginning points to the other points and trim them out. Okay, so line, and probably just draw, when you're trying to draw a tangent line, just pick somewhere and make sure it's not, as long as it's not green, it's not going to be truly snapped. You'll probably have to add tangent afterwards. It might snap tangent to it, like this one probably will if I'm careful. There it went. So that one is locking down. You can see the tangent mark on it. And this one is not. It looks tangent, but it's just because I picked it in a good spot, but it is not tangent. So I'm going to have to force that one before I move on. So I go to tangent, pick the circle, pick the line, and now I can see the tangent constraint showing up. Okay. Okay, so those are good. I can go ahead and put a line across the top of these and across the bottom of those two. That's an easy one. And it should go to the origin on this. It might lock down, it might not. I'm not sure. We'll see. That one went tangent. It did lock down, so that was nice. And that one too. I'll trim that up later. That one did not lock down. I'm not sure why. So what we can do here to check it is you can always right click and show all constraints. I got a tangent there. I did not get a tangent here was the problem. But I think that's the problem anyway, so I'm going to throw a tangent on those two. The first one you do a lot of times doesn't go tangent. Okay, I've got those. I can throw a dimension on those maybe now. Let's see, do I have an angle yet? I don't really have. Oh, it says it's 1/16. Okay, so you gotta make a couple assumptions here. So this part right here, these two, you gotta assume are of course parallel, same as these. So if this is 1/16, then this is 1/16 too. Okay. So if this one right here is 1/16, so it's the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and dimension those, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put that 1.7 in there too, and then I think that line will fully be constrained. Okay. So dimension this line to this line to that angle on there, and it's supposed to be 1/16. Okay. And then I'm gonna do now why does it turn blue? It shouldn't really turn blue because I didn't give it a length yet. Okay. Now I'm gonna tell it that it is 1.7 inches long. So I'm still on dimension. Let's pick it. And I got to right click and pick a line because it's trying to give me a horizontal or vertical dimension. So I'm right click and picking a line. I'm going to type 1.7. Okay. Yeah, it was blue before I gave it a distance and it's still blue, which is kind of goofy, but anyway, it is what it is. Okay, now I kind of do the same thing and go to that 0.32 radius one way over there. All right, so it's got a dimension of 128 from the one I just did. And it's also a line tangent across the two. So we're going to pick line and just pick a spot that's not on a quadrant or origin or anything. And go to this one here. Try to pick one that would be roughly tangent. Oh, wrong one. Oh, that's way up there. Why did it go so high up there? Okay, it didn't bend the circle. So I'm going to put it somewhere up on this thing, but not on a quadrant like that. Okay. Now I'm going to throw my tangents on it and see if it blows up, because it looks like it could right there. Hopefully not. Tangent. Do this one first, and then do this one. See what happens. Whew, it went to the wrong side. I don't like that. I'm going to hit undo there. And I'm going to try to do my rotation here and see if that'll help me. So the rotation is 128, or the angle is 128. So dimension from here to that line we just did, which is this one, and it's supposed to be 128. Okay. What is going on? This circle is in kind of a weird point. So what you can do is probably spin the circle around. I'm going to escape, grab the center point of this circle, and grab that circle and see if I can drag it. It's not really letting me. It's locking it down on something. Why is it locking it down? Right click. Show all constraints. Escape a few times. Right click. Where's my show all degrees of freedom? Why can't I see all my constraints now? Oh, because they're already shown, I guess. Show all constraints. So that one's tangent. This one, I want to bend that. I might just delete that and then move that circle. Try to do it again, just so it gets in a better spot. Try that, I guess. I'm going to delete that line. See if I can drag this circle around a little bit. It's locked now for some reason. Hide all constraints, see if I can move it. Something is causing that to lock down. 1/2 inch tangent angle. The wrong radius on that 1/2 inch radius. Oh, it's on the circle's drawn to the wrong side is the problem. Okay, so I have to redraw this 1/2 inch circle. I'm on the wrong side of that thing. So I'm gonna basically delete that circle. Okay, and put it on the other side of this thing, and then I can get it to work. I'm just gonna freehand it, put it over here to this thing right there, and then tell it it's tangent again, because it was never gonna work the way it was. And now I'm gonna tell it it's 1/2 inch diameter, or 1/2 inch radius. Got to right click to do the 1/2 inch radius. Dimension type. Sometimes you got to go all the way over there. Radius 0.5. Okay, now it'll work. That was causing a lot of headache having that circle on the wrong side. All right, line. Now we go back to doing this. That one right up there did go tangent. Add the tangent constraint. That one, put the distance in there. Picking this and telling it aligned. Right click aligned. And it is, don't have that one. I have the one on the other side is 2.7, but this is definitely not 2.7. Okay, so we're just going to have to add that other one later. This circle here needs to be lower for sure. I can see that, so I'm going to drop it down so I get on the right side of it. Okay, so I'm going to keep working around. Line there to here. Got one tangent show up. Going to add the other one. And then I'm going to tell these two are parallel, and I'm also going to tell that this angle is, or this distance is 2.7. If I get to this, I'll do the distance first. Don't forget to put your tangent constraint on there. Right click aligned, 2.7. And I don't have that angle. I can put the angle on either one of them mentioned. Angle between there and here is 128. And these two need to be tangent, and that should fully constrain everything so far. So, or parallel, I mean. So parallel. So pick parallel and parallel those two lines. There we go. So far we're good. All right, this is wrong. Don't have that dimension in there. That 3.345, that doesn't exist. So we're going to delete that. So it's not fully constrained yet, okay? So if you want to go ahead and finish it out at this point, so we need a line coming down tangent off this one, and you can just fill it the last ones together. That radius is 0.13. So I'm just going to draw a line down roughly tangent to that and put them roughly at the right angle, okay? Just something like that, okay? So we can make these two here parallel. There's a little parallel constraint. That, I got really close, almost got dangerous there. And then we're going to fillet the two together with a 0.13 fillet. There's fillet, and this is 0.12. I'm going to go ahead and change to 0.13, even though it probably is a 0.125. Okay, so I've got that, and now the distance between those, you got to assume it's the same as up here, which is 0.64. Okay, this one was at 0.64 because of that radius, but so we'll put that dimension on there, 0.64, and that might do it from there. We'll see here. 0.64. Oh, I'm missing a tangent yet too. There's one more tangent I forgot to do on this circle to this line. I think it's fully constrained now. I can't see it because my video thing's in the way, but hang out. All right, now once you get it fully constrained, you're ready to trim all those up. And aim the break, you have to reconstrain them. So trim, and get rid of that. It stayed good. That stayed good. That, and that. I'm getting lucky so far. That one, that one. All right, mine all stayed, so that was nice. Once in a while, they might lose a constraint when you go from a certain amount of trimming, but all right. So there's a mistake right here. It isn't 0.64 between those two. It's 0.77 like the detail shows. I was thinking it was the same all the way down, but it's not. It's wider. So I've got it way up here. So that should be 0.77. There we go. That's better. Okay. All right, so we finished this thing. It's fully constrained. Finish sketch. Right click, extrude. Pick your profile. If it is a full loop, luckily, so it's going to work. I don't know. An inch is plenty of thing because this thing's only, I don't know, ½ inch deep. So 1 inch is fine. So I'm just going to accept that. Okay. And now we want to draw. So this was parallel with what we consider the horizontal axis. We can draw right on like the right plane there and draw half of this profile. So just make sure you are on the bottom of it when you start drawing. So 2D sketch. I'm going to go over expand the origin and find the right plane. On mine, I want the YZ, it looks like, because I want to draw right on that face. Okay. And I'm going to spin this and make sure I'm not on the front of it is kind of the problem, though. I guess if I go both directions, it should be okay. I just got to make sure I go both directions when I extrude it. It should be fine. Because we're doing intersect. I think it'll work. Okay, so I'm going to draw the right half of this thing. And the middle of it will be up basically on the origin. I guess I could start right here over there, but I like keeping something on the origin. It's just a good way to actually keep your design similar. So I'm going to draw this line right down the middle here on the origin. And I've got the heights and things. So this is kind of like that one we did before. It's not dimensioned the best. So we got a 0.13 here, and it says typical. So really, this is 0.13, this is 0.26. The inside would be 0.13, and this would be 0.26. So let's see if we can draw that thing. Split in half. All right, so I'll pick line here, and I'm going to start up here at the top. Why can I see that line there? This does not look right. Okay, let's start above the top just to be safe. So at least an inch or so above the top on the horizontal axis. Start drawing from there. That way you know it's going to work. And then draw. It doesn't matter how far down. We're going to dimension it later anyway. So about halfway down, Just don't click on the midpoints of anything. But pick a point on there. It should still be in line. Now I'm going to start trying to draw my little arcs here. Let's see if I can get it to work. A drag. I got it to work the right way. And I'm going to pick one right here, and I'm going to drag again the other way up. It blew up on me. And once it blows up, it doesn't want to go back. So I'm just going to delete that one and draw myself a arc by hand. So arc, and I always hover over the arc in Inventor because it uses the first, last, and midpoint, which is the opposite of an AutoCAD, which is written by the same company, so you'd think they'd be the same, but they're not. So first, midpoint, there did go tangent there, so I'm going to go ahead and use that since it's letting me do it. If you don't get that, you can add it. Now I'm going to draw a line straight down, and you can go back in and add all those tangents if you need to. So I'm going all the way to the bottom, and I'll make, let's see here, I probably need to project that bottom because I need, that's an important one, okay? So I'm going to do project geometry and project that bottom. Stop drawing my line here. And I'm going to hit project geometry, project that bottom edge. I figured it'd snap to it, but it didn't. Now I'll go back to the line and finish it out. Make sure it runs right into it. Okay. Now we can't see it, so if you hit F7, you should be able to see it. My function keys don't work on my laptop, so I can't see it, so I just got to assume it's there. If you hit F7, though, it'll dissect it right into your cut plane where you're drawing on, which is nice. And then you can hit F7 again to get back where it is. Okay, so now it's time to add all these dimensions. So you got to remember it's half this distance, so it's 0.13. So start dimensioning it. I guess we're not really ready to do that yet, are we? Let's do the radiuses. So that this top radius is a bend out. So remember drawing this half. So it should be 0.26 because it's metal being bent outwardly. Okay, and this inside one will be 0.13. This is metal being bent in 0.13. Okay, and the height of it is, it's 0.26 plus 0.26, so the whole thing will be 0.26. So this from here to here will be 0.13. We haven't offset it yet. It's kind of like the link we did a while ago. So from here to here would be 0.13. Okay, and it looks like I'm missing a tangent there for sure. Tangent. Okay, it's getting closer. All right, so this 0.109, that's on the outside and that's on the outside. So I don't have either one of those. Well, the way that dimension is, you can see it's going to the inside. It's not very well dimensioned. If you look at it closely, that 109 is the part we're drawing. So this dimension goes to the inside of that. So we can use the 109 here. Okay, so I'm going to dimension that one. And that's this line. 1.09. I think mine's fully constrained. Looks like it. I don't see any black marks. So I'm going to go ahead and offset that 0.13 now. Okay, and it stayed fully constrained. I could project this up here too if I want to, but I'm not going to. Either way would be fine. I'm just going to connect my dots now, and I should be able to extrude. I should be done with this thing, which should actually work pretty decent. Why didn't that fully constrain? Oh, because I don't have a height, but who cares? I'm making it extra high. And then down here, I've got I can't see mine. There's a line there somewhere. It's green. If you hit F7, you should be able to see yours, but on my laptop it don't work. That should go blue since we projected that. Now, like I said, we could go ahead and project this. Either way would be fine. Make sure it's fully constrained when you get that far. Okay, it doesn't really matter too much, but if this didn't fully constrain, and I always push you to fully constrain, so it probably would have been better to have you project that line there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just to show you. You don't have to change it if you're ready to do the other way. And I'm going to draw a line across that, and that will be fully constrained. Maybe. Doesn't want to snap to it. Might be my graphics, but there it did fully constrain. And I'll trim that off. So that will give you a fully constrained everywhere. But it really doesn't matter as long as it's way too tall. But if you wanted to make a bigger one, it could come back to haunt you, I guess. So that's a little bit better design there. Is that not locked down now? Okay, so I have to tell that is I didn't have a tangent there. I lost it somewhere. So I'm adding that. Going to add that tangent in there. And it's still not locked down. Where is it? Right click, show all degrees of freedom. It says it can rotate, so let's see if it does, if it's vertical or not. Sometimes vertical becomes horizontal. Let's try that. There we go. So I didn't know that was what it thinks is. See, vertical is Y there. You would think it'd be vertical, but I had to pick horizontal to get it. Sometimes you got to pick the other one. All right, it's fully constrained now. So if you get that far, finish sketch, right click finish sketch. Okay, now the extrusion is a little different than what we've typically done. So I'm going to hit right click extrude, and I got to hit pick both directions, and then I got to pick intersect, and then I should pick through all. I don't know if that's going to work. It did work. I was thinking I might have to put a big old distance in there, but it looked like it did go through all. So that's kind of neat, huh? That it actually it's just keeping the part where everything intersects itself. So, and it forms that shape. And let's see if it doesn't break. Hit OK. And this would definitely be a good place to save. Okay, so now we mirrored it to the other side, and we add this little tube in between the two, and this part's done. Okay. I'll probably go ahead and at least get started on these other two while I'm here to do the video. Okay, so please make sure you save it right before you mirror it. Now we're ready to mirror it. It doesn't like being mirrored. It tries to mirror all kinds of stuff. But if you pick the solid button here, or mirror solids only, that seems to work. Okay, and then for the mirror, so you hit that little solids button. Okay, and then you pick the mirror plane and just pick the back side of that thing right there, and then hit OK. All right. To finish this out, you can just put a little, just how big is that circle in this thing? It is, we're about done, we might as well finish it out. Oh, where's it tell us how big it is? There it is. They dimensioned the hidden line, that's not good, right? So 0.38, so really that'd probably be more like 0.375, but we can make it 0.38. So there's a tube on the back side of this thing. So right click on one of these faces, new sketch. Okay, and then draw two, project the inside circle, I guess would be the best thing. Okay, so project one of those circles and then draw a circle that is on that same center point that's 0.38 or 0.375. Either way is fine. And that should have been a radius, so I'm going to delete it and do it again. Circle, right click, or I must have been on radius, it should have been diameter. There's diameter. 0.38, I must have used that last time, or 375. Okay, so we got that in there. Now extrude that till it hits the other one. So that's right click and extrude. Make sure you pick just that ring, okay? And then you want to pick until it hits the next one, to or to next. There's to next right there. So pick to next. I'm running 2021, so it's got the interface looks a little bit different. Make sure you pick to next. Hit OK. All right, so this thing's done. Make it a certain material, whatever you want it to be. I'm going to make mine lead, and I'm going to save it. Okay, this thing should be done. All right, so these pins are easy, so I'm not going to draw those pins for you. You can draw them yourself. Should be a piece of cake. They're just circles extruded. This one has threads on it, so when you're creating something, there is a thread button, so you can add threads to it. It's not really critical. They're just a picture of threads. They're not real anyway. So just make sure, but make sure when you dimension it, it would be right. But we're not dimensioning it anyway, so you can just make it 5/16 diameter if you want to. So which one's worse? The top one's not too bad. This one's got some tricks in it, so we'll do that next because it goes pretty fast. And then I'll at least get you started on that last one by the end of class, I think. Okay, so let's do this one. So this one right here, let's see here. So There's a couple ways to do it. The easiest way, I think, is to probably draw a circle and don't put a dimension on it, and then eventually we'll dimension it from here to the outside circle be 3.28. This is an extrusion into it. That 0.45 chamfer, that thing's really tough because it's actually chamfering around on the edge of a circle. So what you usually do is just draw a triangle there that's 45 degrees and oversize and cut it out. That's the main trick for that one. And then the 1/2 inch diameter doesn't help you much till you do the triangle right there. This part kind of helps you draw it. I do a revolve on this thing. I think I do a revolve unless it tells me there's a taper. It doesn't give me a taper, so I think we're going to draw this a little bit of this and revolve it. So save, file, new, part. Let's go ahead and save it right off the bat, and we'll call it clamp handle or handle. So save handle. Okay. Should be saving in the right place, hopefully. Start 2D sketch, start 2D sketch. So we're going to do a revolve on the XY plane. We're just going to draw like the upper half of this profile is the idea, okay? And we'll revolve it around. All right, so line, and I'm just going to draw a line roughly, well, I can draw it 3.28 over. So 3.28. 3.28, enter, okay? And I'll do my fancy arc since I've been doing that all day. I might as well do it again. So I'm going to pick on that point and drag an arc out of it and see if I can do it. Got lucky. Probably way off on size, but that's all right. And now I'm going to drag it over to, you could also put a circle over there. Just make sure you pick it on that point, but it's easier to draw an arc, I think. So I'm going to roughly put it what I think is halfway close to right size, straight up from the origin, and now connect the loop. Make sure I'm actually on it. It's straight vertical. Okay. Now it's time to add dimensions and make your constraints in there. So I'll make those tangent first because they weren't. Okay. And I'm gonna add some dimensions. This diameter looks like it's 0.5 maybe. Yeah, it's got a radius of 0.5, so I'll 0.5 for that radius. Got my 328. That actually went better than I thought it would. Says the diameter of that inside one is 0.75. Okay, so the height of that would be half of that, 0.375. So on the right of this, the height is 0.375 because of this 0.75 here. Okay, this is the front view of it. Goes along with that one. It's kind of hard to tell from these views here. So I'm going to mention that one 0.375, and it should go fully constrained, I think. Okay, that worked out pretty good. Okay, we should be able to revolve it around this line, I think, or the x-axis, either way. So finish sketch once you get it fully constrained, and we want to go to revolve, and it's going to want an axis. I think it went to it already. That's a new one, and that was too easy. Hit OK. Okay, there's a ton of things you can do next. I think I do this stupid triangle next because it's annoying. But you basically you can't chamfer that because it's not a full chamfer. So we're basically going to draw a triangle with a 45 degree, a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch over from the center and cut it and then mirror it. Okay, so you really just pick any plane to do it on since this thing's round, as long as it bisects it. So I'm going to pick the XY plane, okay, and put a new sketch on there. Okay, so I expanded the origin to get to that. And now I got to draw that triangle roughly in the right spot. I'm just going to start drawing and try to make it close to the right spot. I'm going to pick right there, pick right here, pick right there, and add some constraints and make it happen. So that one's got to be horizontal, and this one's got to be vertical. I didn't get a line there somehow. I don't know how, but I didn't. I'll put it back in there, and it's vertical anyway. It looked like it locked it down. Now I have my 45 degrees. There might be an easier way to do this one, but I didn't really figure it out. I did 0.45. Let's try that again. 45. If you want to fully constrain it, add a dimension for that. Like you can give it like an inch or something from here. Oops, I'm on angle. want to do that. 45. Okay, so this dimension should be half of the 0.5. I'm going to do a 0.25 from there. For some reason I'm not getting on that origin. There, I got it. 0.25. All right, and I didn't get that one either. I had to turn it to actually be able to do it. I'm just going to tell one, it can be literally anything. So that's fully constrained. We'll cut both directions on that and mirror it, and that'll be done. And then on the face, you put a rectangle in there and extrude it into it 0.328. Okay, let's see, bud. All right, so we don't run out of time. I'm going to go ahead and just finish this sketch. Extrude cut both ways, and then I'm going to go into the other one. Extrude, cut both directions, all. Okay, I guess I might as well finish this thing. It's real close anyway. So then we're going to go to mirror. Pick the part I want to mirror. So let me pick the plane, which I think it would be YZ, maybe. If I get, nope, not YZ. It's that one. XY on mine. Nope, it's not that one either. That one there. XC. Okay, because I want to mirror this down here and it's showing up. Okay, so hit OK there. Now on this face, you want to draw that rectangle and extrude cut it in 3.11. It looks like the rectangle is 0.26 by 0.64 centered. So new sketch on there. I've got a center point, which is nice. So I'm going to pick a 2-point center rectangle, go off the center, and 0.26, tab, 0.64, enter, right click, finish 2D sketch, right click, extrude, switch it to cut, give it a distance, or distance at, I don't know, this is a lot new to me too. 2 through all. I guess you just pick it, and it's 3.11. There we go. That looks wrong. Something is weird about that. Well, maybe it does go like that. It's hard to tell from there. It does kind of look like that. Go above there. 6.4. Yeah, it does go up above there. Well, I thought I did it the wrong way, didn't I? See, it should be the opposite. I did my rectangle the wrong direction. That's an easy fix. Double click on that. Double click on your sketch. Change your 2 dimensions. That one should be 0.64. 64. This one should be 0.28. Or 2.6, sorry, 0.26. Thought it looked funky there. There we go. There, that looks more like it. Okay, so that one's done. Make it into some kind of material. Whatever you want. I don't want that because I don't like being able to see through it. Let's make this silver. Save it. And we'll do the last hard one together. Okay, so I'm going to go through this one real quick. I'm not going to put too much of it in the video, but I'm going to explain some of the things to worry about on it. Okay, so this one, there are some tricks you need to watch out for. So I'm just going to kind of explain it because time's about up on this video anyway. So I just draw this base profile of this thing. Forget about all the fillets till it's done. Just draw the base rectangle, 2-point rectangle. Go ahead and put the circles in there that belong in there and extrude it up the right height, which it looks like it's 0.2 tall. Then on top of that, draw this next little rectangle right here, okay? So this one that goes all the way, and make sure you go all the way across, because if you don't go all the way across, it's going to have a gap here when this top one gets tapered. So this rectangle needs to go front to back. So draw that rectangle all the way up. Just ignore these little fillets. Those get all added later. Okay, and it's about the same height. It's 0.36 minus 0.2, so 0.16 tall. Okay, and it's got the size of it somewhere on here. Looks like it's 0.64 wide. It's front to back. So, and then on this face right here, not that second face, but on the first face you drew, draw another rectangle for this big chunk. Okay, Now this one has its own trick, okay? It starts out on the very far left, and it looks like it goes over 1.03. Oh, that's to the top. Okay, good. We don't even need to know that. That's a reference dimension. That should be in brackets. So 1.2 it goes over, okay? And the height of it is 1.2 minus 0.2, so it's 1 inch tall, okay? Now the trick is when you extrude it, you got to hit the little arrows that go to the more screen, okay? So whenever you extrude something like right here, okay, now I don't even know how to use this one because it's new. There's usually a more screen that you pick on the older one that basically lets you put a taper on it. Actually, you have to find it on 2021. I haven't figured it out yet. But so hit a couple arrows that bring it to the more screen, and you can put that 5-degree taper on it, okay? And make sure it's going in the correct direction. It's got to be tapering in. Okay, so you'll put that on there, and then it should taper. It should go up tapered like this does on all 4 sides. This is just a rectangle with a fillet across the top. Okay, nothing fancy there. 2 of them. Extrude it up, and then on that face, put a hole in it, the right dimension. Now this one here, you can't pick the back face or the front face, put a hole in, because the problem is that it'll be tapered and it'll go down at an angle if you do that. So what you want to do is this little face right here on the back side, pick on that little bitty face that's not tapered, and that's what you draw on, okay? And then just shoot it through, because that one's going perfectly straight up and down. You can't pick on an angled face, or the hole will extrude crooked. Okay, the rest of it's pretty easy. This is just to get that little surface in there, just draw a circle and extrude, cut it up, and it'll cut that little gouge out of it. Okay. And there's a ton of fillets on it. That's it. That one's not too bad. You just got to be careful with those little parts. Text me or email me any questions. Okay. And we'll go over the get all the parts done and try to assemble it. I'll try to do a little video on the animation part of it, and maybe the assembly as well. The assembly can be a little tricky on this one. So I'll probably do an assembly video, because you want to basically put it together, and then we'll do a presentation, and then we'll actually do an animation. Okay, your book actually tells you how to animate. It's not too bad. So, but I'll try to do a little video on that. And that'll be due for next class. All right? Okay.